Today I thought I'd talk about baits. Now, there's 3 baits that I use absolutely the most, and these baits I can use year-round, and they're really versatile. You know, I can switch them out, or I can use them all together. So today, I've gone and mixed all my favorite baits together, and this is what we get. So, what are my top 3 baits? So my top 3 baits would be grain corn, boilies, and chicken feed. So why do I pick these? Well, all of them I can use together, and they work really well for any scenario. You know, chicken feed, I can use it a lot in winter because it's a very light feed. You can put it in a little PVA mesh bag and throw it out with a single hook bait. So that's a really good bait. But also in the summer, you can wet it down, bind it up with some corn, and you can throw it out there for loose feed and really get it pretty far if you pack it into a ball. And then, that's more of a secondary bait. My primary bait that I use is corn, which I have right here. Now corn I like to use a lot because fish around here they know it and they readily accept it. It's really easy to use. I can buy a 50-pound bag of grain corn for $5 at a local feed store. That's way cheaper than I would get any boilies online. And so all I have to do is boil it up overnight, really simple, and I have plenty of bait to use, and the fishes really love it, and you can use it so many different ways. Now, my last bait that I like to use would normally be bread, but since bread isn't really a year-round bait, and I don't use it all that much, it doesn't make the list for my top 3. So my next would be boilies. Now boilies, here in the US, the fish aren't super readily accepting of boilies. They don't eat them all the time. You know, there's not a lot of carp anglers using boilies here in the US, so they're not a main bait that I use as opposed to like corn. We can just throw out loads of it and they'll come on the spot and really mop it up. So instead, what I use for boilies is more of an accent, somewhat like the chicken feed. So what I do is I'll mix it in with my loose feed. Like in here I've got a little bit of everything. I've got the grain, I have the corn, and I also have the boilies. And what the boilies do is they add a bit of visual attraction. And they also have, you know, some of the most incredible flavors and scents that you wouldn't be able to get from corn or chicken feed. Whereas those are really cheap. This is a bit more expensive. The other thing I really love to use with this is on the hook. This, for a hook bait, a nice bright 15mm pop-up or boilie is really great, especially when used with a few pieces of corn. It just adds that visual so fish can kind of hone in on that hook bait amongst all the rest of your bait. They can hone in on that and they pick it up 9 times out of 10. So those are my top 3 baits. Boilies for the hook bait, chicken feed as more of an accent, you know, PVA sticks, and then corn as the brunt of it. So when used in conjunction, it's a really great mixture. So I recommend these 3 baits, and they're simply really cheap, most of them at least, and they're really versatile. You can use them all year round. So I hope these work for you, and in a moment I'm going to show you the rigs I use and how to prepare some of these baits like the corn.
son.